Hello everyone, happy Sunday night in my part of the world. It is Sunday, September 23rd. Only one more week of September left, guys. Yikes. Anyway, I'm here to show you what I did with the paper pumpkin kit. And like I've told those of you that follow me before, I like to try it the way they tell you to do it originally. So I just did 3 little bags, bag tags and bags, and I put some Dove milk chocolate in here just because that's what I had in the house to show you. I did not glue these down with adhesive dots yet because I don't know that that's what's going to remain in the bags. Anyway, so I did these, and it tells you to stamp the tags first. Let me get the instructions. And then I'm going to show you some alternates too, so hang in there. You know, here's the picture they give you. And I wish I had looked at the picture a little closer, because I was kind of following it the way they did it here, and they have the words partway up, but I put them too far up, I think. I put them up about 1/3 of the way down from the top. This one I got really close to the top, to the fold, excuse me. This one's further down in the middle. And I maybe should have put the bat there and the eek there. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't like where I had to place the other things to make it work out with where I stamped. So that was my first thing, is lay your things on there before you glue them down. It's kind of hard because these are sticky backed, but you can still sort of hold them above it, lay other things down, and then figure out exactly where you want to stamp, because they have you do the stamping first, which is fine. I made it work, but just with me, yeah. And then the other thing, here's a tip, is with this ink spot and these stamps, and I truly believe this says Basic Gray Archival, and I remember with the new inks that this year that Stampin' Up brought out, they moved Basic Gray from Archival into the basic neutrals, the neutral colors. So I think this is their, well, it still says permanent base dye ink, so I don't know if it's the old one or if it's the current one, because it doesn't say classic like the current ones do. So I'm thinking it's the old one. And I will say, when I first tried to stamp with that, I got a lot of shadowing on these stamps. So I think I was kind of pushing the stamp hard onto the stamp pad. I would suggest taking your stamp pad, your ink pad, to the stamp instead. So, for example, I have this little spider on here. Go like this. And this is another reason I think it's archival, and for sure the older ink, because gray you would think would clean off real nice, but it's staining my photopolymer stamps, and I've been cleaning them so with my chamois. So anyway, the chamois actually doesn't seem to clean it as good. And I actually did use some stamp cleaner on it, and it still stained it. So, and when on the other ones. So, yeah, just a tip. And then the other tip I have is always test it, stamp it off onto, like, you know, copy paper or something first. Make sure you don't have like a lot of ink around your, well, it's not as bad on these, but like on this moon, there's a ridge around here. Make sure you don't have a lot of extra ink on the ridge around the, yeah, the pumpkin, the moon, they seem to be the worst ones. And maybe some of these words have like extra photopolymer, and that happens a lot even with the rubber stamps. The rubber ones you can cut. I would not cut the photopolymer to trim it off. I take a baby wipe, and like here on this spider, I don't know if you can see this, but there's extra photopolymer around there. I just take a baby wipe before I stamp. Oops, sorry. And I wipe around these edges if I got ink there, because if you don't and you push too hard or lopsided, you're going to get a ridge from that stamp. Okay, so always stamp it, test it once, and also if you had a lot of extra ink on, it'll get that off. And then I actually wipe it clean and then re-stamp it, and then you're usually good to go. And it worked fine doing it that way. And I don't know, I keep all kind of scrap, but you see here's my, well, this was from Stampin' Off, and I even did it with the colors, like this one. This was my first one I think I stamped, and it was really, I got it really too inked up, so you have to be careful and stamping it off once or twice on here on a blank sheet, and then wiping your stamp clean, and then trying again, and doing it ink spot to stamp instead of stamp to ink spot. That helps. Okay, stamping tip. I'm learning. I'm learning. Yeah, and I think I'm getting better at stamping, although I still have some boo-boos sometimes. So okay, so then let's see, moving along, it tells you to stamp first and then wrap each one with baker's twine. I'm going to take one of these off, maybe this one. Wrap it with baker's twine. You wrap it sort of right near the crease, okay? And then you adhere any laser cut word stickers, and then it tells you to adhere your silver foil. Okay, the silver foil sheet is this one. Oops. And I even did a boo-boo with this, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And what these are the backs to your jack-o'-lanterns and the eyes of your ghost. So let me get a ghost, if I can find. Here he is. Okay. Sorry, I have everything piled up over here, guys. So here's your jack-o'-lantern. It tells you to adhere them, and you want to use your glue dots. Okay. So let me I'll just do this with you. And these little circles are for behind the eyes of the ghost. Let me get that out of there so don't flash you to death here. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my new tool, which took me a little bit to get used to. Also, everything takes a little bit to get used to. So here's the first mistake I made. You see this has ridges on the bottom, and this has ridges on the bottom. Yeah, I put it upside down like this. And it sort of worked, except I have one little corner sticking out here, and I just cut it off. Yeah, duh, Deb. And I knew that, but when I did it, I just did it wrong. And then the second thing I did wrong is, when I was doing the ghost the first time, luckily I got it off, I put my glue dots on the white, which, guess what? You don't want the white to show through the white. You want the silver to show through the white. So here's what I did. I take my glue dots, and hopefully I can do this again because I had a little break in between. I put one here on the pumpkin, right in the middle there. I really am starting to really love this pick it up tool, or pick it up tool. I put one down here near this big tooth here. Sorry for my hand being in the way. And one here, and I'm not taking the things off yet. Oh, I'm putting it on the back of the orange, not on the silver. See? And I think I used 5. I put one up sort of in the middle up here in his cheek, or hers, whichever it is. It's an it's. I miss Cousin It. Okay, and then I should learn to use tweezers for this too. Peel them off. I did smush a couple of them, but I am liking it, and I'm liking it for other things, which I'll get to in a little bit. I'm not going to do full tutorials here. I'm just trying to give you some tips. Now, here's the thing. You want the silver part down and the ridgy part to the bottom. So And I'm telling you this, so I tell myself it as well. Line it up as best you can, and voila, you have a silver shiny eyed pumpkin, little jack-o'-lantern, see? And then the ghost, where'd he go? I just put maybe one up here and one down here. Oh, in case you're wondering, the sheet that comes in your kit this month is bigger than this, but I had already started this one probably from last month, so I'm trying to finish that one up before I use the next one, which I keep with my roll of dots and is right here. So you get a lot of glue dots in this month's kit, guys. A lot of them. Okay, so let's peel our sticker off. And then foil side down. Here we go. Boom. And we have glittery-eyed ghost. Oops. I mean shimmery-eyed, silvery-eyed ghost. So there, that's a tip on where to put your glue dots and how to do that. And if you don't have this tool, you can get them up with your fingernail. I usually do it, or tweezers or something. Let me put the lid on that so I don't lose the lid. Okay, so I think that was it. And then it just folds. And then what they suggest is you get your little bags. Oh, let me show you that too, because somebody had a question on it. These little white cards are the bottoms of your bags, guys. And I put the white side facing up. That helps keep them, you know, flat on the bottom. Okay. The white shiny side. And then you put your goodies in, whatever you want to put in. I could put beads in here or something, right? Not just candy, anything you want. And you could use a stapler if you want, but when they take it off, it'll tear. So I kind of agree with them to just put a couple glue dots on there and there. And put it down like that. And there you have your little treat bag. Okay? I think they're adorable. Okay, so that is what the intended purpose was, and the stamp set really has a lot to it. Now, you see, I've cleaned all these stamps as I was going, and I've used quite a few of them. The only thing I haven't used is this bat, this star, and the to and from. I didn't use those. Everything else, actually, and I didn't use the, did I? Oh, yes, I did use the jack-o'-lantern, but I didn't use it with, the gray. The archival gray is staining the stamps, which kind of surprised me because I didn't think it had a lot of red in it, and red usually stains, but it is. So if anybody has a tip on that, let me know, please. But yeah, it definitely is staining. Okay, so here's my 2 alternates. I only got 2 done. I have more ideas, but I just didn't have time to get to them. I'm so sorry, and I'm already late with this, I know. So here's the first one I did. It's a card, yes, of course. Because we're using basic gray, I pulled out some basic gray cardstock. I had like 4 pieces because I bought 2 of the Neutrals variety pack of 8.5 by 11 paper. And if you have 8.5 by 11 paper, this is what it looks like. You cut it at 5.5, and that gives you 2 card bases, and then you turn it this way and you score it at 4 1/4, and then you'll have your card folds. So that's what you do. Here's the other half of this sheet of paper, or a sheet of paper, I guess. I didn't score it yet. Okay. Then I got a piece of pumpkin pie, which I had in my stash too, and which matches the pumpkins in here just perfectly. And then I took one of the treat bags, the one with the spider webs, and you can get 2 cards, and I'll show you that in a minute, with one of these bags, because there is a seam. And what I did, I think I snipped off the bottom here where you see it's fused. Just snip on the inside of the fuse, Then open up your bag, and in the where the gusset is, one of them has like a seam. Yeah, this one does. It's wider. The design sort of splits a little bit, and you cut that, and then you flatten it out and lay it over your card. And I cut it just so there's a border still with the orange. And then what I used, now you can use your glue dots, and I recommend that actually, because I tore mine a little bit, but it's under here. I used the Stampin' Snail adhesive, but instead of adhering it to the card base, the card mat, excuse me, I adhered it to the actual clear bag on the back, on what I thought was the back side, the inside. And it didn't really tear, but it pulled it a little bit here. It is clear though, and you can't really see it, so I like that about it. But you could use a liquid glue that dries clear, like a fast drying, clear drying glue. You can use the dots, and I actually recommend them because they will stick to the plastic, and they will adhere. You'd have to like put one in each corner in the middle and across the middle and so forth. So I did that, and then I pulled out of my recent stash this ribbon that I love, love, love. I have to get more of this ribbon. It's the black glittered organdy ribbon from the seasonal catalog with the sparkle in it. I'm definitely gonna at some point order more of that before they run out of that. Then I took a tag and I put it sideways. I stamped Eek on it with the stamp in the basic gray. And one of my boo-boos is I didn't quite get it dark enough. So I happen to have the Many Marvelous markers, Stampin' Right marker in basic gray. And I actually took the brush end and went over it just a little bit in the middle part of the letters, which sort of gave it a lighter outline on it. I think it looks cool. I stamped the moon in crushed curry. The spiders are in the basic gray, and I didn't use this on this one. And then here's a pumpkin with the silver behind it, and one of the punch out bats, and they're both up on the dimensionals. And also, guys, I had a pack of my dimensionals open, and like this, and I still have a little bit left. I used some of these. In fact, I didn't know this. I had another sheet with just edges like that. I use the edges too. Don't waste anything, because they work just as well. And sometimes you need that skinnier, rigidy shape. In fact, it worked great on the bat rather than the bigger pieces. Now, they do have mini dimensionals at Stampin' Up too. So anyway, that is my front. And then when you open it, this is a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I went around the edges with the basic gray, which sort of bled into the sides of the paper, but I kind of like that for Halloween. It looks kind of, you know, spooky eerie. I did stamp the pumpkin with the pumpkin pie ink that I have. And one bat and two spiders, again in basic gray. And here I had an extra little strip of orange, which is pumpkin pie, and an extra strip of, from my scraps of basic black. And I just stamped in words in pumpkin pie, it's Halloween. So that is my first alternate card. And I have to check that, I have a little sticky. So the second one, what I had been wanting to try is a shaker card. Because I thought they're acetate, right? You know, that's ideal for a shaker card. And I'm still going to do, I'll let you in on a hint, I'm going to make some shaker tags. And that's what my next alternate's going to be. So nobody else do it, because I said it first. I haven't seen anybody else do those. So if I'm not first, forgive me, but I have not seen anybody else do those. So, okay, this one is a little more complicated. This is the acetate. So what I did is I took and punched with my I always forget this one. Pretty Label Punch. Item number is 143715 from the annual catalog if you're interested. Very handy punch to have. I thought it looked sort of like a cloud. But then I got out my Cauldron framelits, which I'm afraid to say are, I believe, on back order right now. I have to check that. I seem to recall they were on back order. So, I think they're getting more in. I will double check, but they had a high demand for them. And they are, I can see why, because I love to use them. Anyway, I did 2 spider webs in the black, basic black. Down here, I had an extra piece of purple Gorgeous Grape. And I did a banner length, and I had an extra piece of basic black. And I did the banner, and that I used the, what is this called? I don't remember. It's the triple banner punch, excuse me, and it's 138292 is the item number. And to do these flags, and save your little pointy pieces that come off, guys, and you'll see why in a minute. So then what I did is I stamped off. Remember I showed you this messy sheet of paper? This is me stamping off, and what that means is when you first ink up your, stamp, it's really, you got the most ink on it, and I tried to do like a shadowy effect with the word spooky. So I'd stamp off on here and then stamp onto the card. Then I'd ink it up again, stamp off on here, stamp onto the card. And sometimes I just stamped twice onto the card, so it's really faded. And I just did that a couple times up here, off the card even, around the edges and things, just to give it a little background texture. I also did a few of the little spiders like that. And there's 2 sizes of the little spiders. This little cutesy guy. I'm not a spider lover, don't get me. I have, oh my gosh, I have had some issues with my plumbing here again this weekend on yesterday morning. And the plumber was here, and no lie, there was a black spider like this big in my basement. I was like freaking out, and I'm trying to not. Hi guys, I'm sorry it cut off again. So sorry. I don't remember where I was. I think I told you how to cut the bag, and gosh, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just go through the front real quick again. I cut these black spider webs out with the Cauldron bubble frameless dies, and that either is on, I think that's on back order or something right now. Been very popular. So the spider webs came out of that. They're in the seasonal catalog, excuse me, in the Toil and Trouble collection. I was talking to you about stamping off, and then down here I had an extra piece of black paper, and I used basic black, and I used the triple banner punch and punched it, and then I had a piece of Gorgeous Grape, and I made it just a little bit longer, and I punched it as well. And save your little pieces that come out, because you're going to see why when we get to the inside. And then I had sequins that were out of my stash. I don't remember if I told you all that or not, but I used, looks like 6 purple ones. But I also used these little tiny metallic pearls, which are Stampin' Up. It comes with gold and silver. They're 3mm. They're so cute. And I'll use them and put them, I just put a little dot of glue on and glued them in the middle. This is one of the ghosts like we just did with the silver eyes. And you could just, you know, get a bunch of those together all at the same time if you want to. Little piece of the black silver twine tied in a bow, stuck down with a glue dot, as well as a little dab of wet glue. And then I'm just going to jump into the shaker pocket, which I love. Okay, the sequins in it are from my stash. They're not Stampin' Up, and they are just like Dollar Tree or Walmart. I can't remember. I had silver, purple, orange, and black, which I don't have out right now. And how I did that is, you see this, there's a purple piece of paper here. First of all, I punched this out with the, excuse me, Pretty Label Punch 143715, which is available. And then what I did is I took the piece of the acetate and I found a big spider web that I liked and centered it. And how I stuck that down is on the inside around the Pretty Label Punch opening that I did right out of the basic gray card base. I used my snail again. I just went like this, 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 and this, very close to the edges of the Pretty Label Punch. Then I took my piece of acetate and laid it over, and it was too big, and I cut some off later, but I, like the pieces that were outside where the snail was, I cut some of them off after I stuck it down, and I made it, I started at one end and I flattened it out as I went. I might even have used my bone folder out of my treat bag maker from the punch board that is Stampin' Up's. And then I got out this, now Stampin' Up has foam strips and foam tape. I don't have them yet, so I had this pack of Jot foam mounting tape, and I took some of that after I trimmed the excess off. Took some of the foam mounting tape, and again I put it close, as close to the Pretty Label Punch edges as I could, because within the foam tape on top of the acetate, and I don't have time to do one of these with you right now, but I will if you want me to, because I'm just learning this too. You have your acetate down, it's glued down, then you put the foam tape on top of it around the edges. Then you have like a little indented well, and that is where your sequins go. Okay, so then you put your sequins in and just lay your piece of paper over before you glue it down, and make sure it shaky shakes, but don't shake it too hard because nothing's adhered yet. Then this is a piece of Gorgeous Grape, and what I did is, because from like up here it stuck to the foam mounting tape, I needed something down here. I could have used the foam tape all the way, but I just stuck some dimensionals on. I think if I did it again, I would use the foam tape all the way down because it would be a smoother feel to the hand. So that's what I did there. I just covered up the mechanism, and you can sort of see in here, which I don't like, seeing that white foam tape. So what you can do there, and I very well may, is either take basic gray or purple marker and color that little bit of tape showing there. You can color your dimensionals, and same on the other side there. You can sort of see them. But people don't generally go looking in there unless they're card makers, right? So then here's the rest of the inside. I did another one of the spider webs. I took my one purple edge taggy thing. Up here is the other two, the parts of the banner that punched out are here. And for some reason, oh, the black one was smaller than the purple, so I put the black down first, which fits just inside the white part. The purple goes all the way out to the edges of the purple, and then I had a little piece of the black ribbon, so I put that on top of it, and then I stamped some spiders, and you see this little spider got a little messed up, but I'm just going to let it go. And I didn't put any more sentiment in there. I might put something here. Not feeling the pumpkin. Maybe we can do this together. Maybe, what do you think? A black cat? Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the black cat if I can fit it on this paper. It might not work. Might work. There we go. Use your scraps. I pretty well finished that piece. So I think we're just going to add a little black cat down here. Now that wasn't planned. And since, what do I have here? I have glue dots. I will use, oops, what's that? I will use some glue dots. Let me get my scrapey tool. I have to put him on this side so that he faces the right way. He or she. Should name it a she because it's after my kitty. I don't want to bump it up on dimensionals on the inside of the card because I feel like that'll make it too bulky on the inside. I already have dimensionals where the shaker is. I think that maybe just one little one on his tail, her tail. I think right there. Okay. And then we'll peel off those little thingies. And we're just going to stick our little kitty down. I'm going to fold that glue in so it doesn't show. And this one got a little crumpled up. There we go. Alright. So, not too hard actually. Easy way to make. I'm going to put it right there. That looks like its little front paws are going in the indent of that card there. That tag. And that is that. So there is our second alternate. I hope you liked it. I had it in my head all week. I wanted to make this shaker, a shaker. I don't know if I necessarily thought it was going to look like this. I think I originally had a little bit of a different idea. I will say some of the sequins are sticking a little bit to the foam tape in there. So, not sure what to do about that. But some of them shake. They do shake. They shake. So there's enough shaking in there. I probably could have put a few more in maybe. But I didn't want it too... You have to be careful not to put too many sequins in, because if you put too many in, it clogs up and won't shake either. So, but there's enough to give it color, and then they're underneath the spider web. So I think it's cool. What would have made it better is I was hoping I still could do that. I could stamp out a little spider on white paper or gray paper and cut it out, fussy cut it out, put it right in the center of the spider web on top the acetate, and I may still do that. I was thinking that for some reason that the cauldron bubble had a spider, but it doesn't. It has a frog, a kitty, you know, and a ghost, but it doesn't have a spider. So anyway, that's okay. I should have got the spider trinkets out of the catalog, and I didn't, and I can't place any more orders this month. So I hope you liked the cards I made, and the little treat bags are what, you know, what came with the kit. If you're interested in getting Paper Pumpkin, the link to, a direct link to my Paper Pumpkin site, it's actually Stampin' Up's Paper Pumpkin site, but so that I get credit for it, is below. It's a surprise every month for $19.95 plus whatever tax you have in your area. That's in the United States only. I can't sell to Canadian or overseas. They have their own consultants. And overseas, I know UK, Australia, oh gosh, there's a lot. Netherlands, Germany, a lot of areas that have Stampin' Up consultants overseas. So I apologize if you're watching, you don't have them. But if you're in the United States and you'd like to try out the Paper Pumpkin, I would love to have you as a customer. And it's something different every month. I have no idea what's coming out in October. But, you know, we're getting closer to the holidays, so who knows? Could be something, I don't know. I have no clue. I have not even gotten a hint yet on what the next box will be. So, when I do, I'll start dropping hints to you. if I see, you know, hints. So yeah, this is what I made. I made 3 little treat bags. You get 24 of those. So I still have 20 of, no, yeah, 20 of them because I cut one up. This one I just brought out to show. So you can make plenty of little treat bags. In my neighborhood, no one trick-or-treats. And now there's only a little girl next door and there's a little boy, but he's probably 10 now, something like that. I don't know. Not sure. 9 or 10. Anyway, the other children down the street, they're all teenagers now, and nobody trick-or-treats here. And I'm on a cul-de-sac, so there's just not the children. Where I used to live years ago, we used to run out of candy. We had so many children. So this is kind of a different experience for me. And the first year we had maybe 2. It was a younger neighborhood then. Now the neighborhood's kind of changed over. People got older, and then older people moved out and other people moved in, but their children, like I said, are all grown. And nowadays everybody's afraid to go trick-or-treating. So I just have my grandgirls. I might give my mom a little bag or something, and maybe I'll, my mother's birthday's on the 30th of September. I might, that's a little early for Halloween to give them treat bags. So anyway, we'll see. I don't know yet. But I'll probably give some to family and my grandgirls especially. So, all right, guys, have a good evening before this runs out of room yet again. I will see you the next time. Like I said, I'm wanting to do something special with these, something more shakery than this. So we'll see. I'll show you when I come up with it. Not tonight. I'm done for the night after I get this video up. All right, talk to you soon. Hugs, love, and peace.